Hello, you're playing The Waiting Game, the show designed to ease the pain of waiting for a game you want by suggesting similar things. This week, prepare to die. Like, a lot. Yes, everyone's favourite dungeon-crawling, murder-tastic title Dark Souls is back for a second instalment, pitting you against the forces of darkness and, more likely than not, yourself as you try to make it all the way through without smashing anything in frustration. But before you strap your helm back on and go butcher a load of demons, however are you going to tide yourself over? Well, if you're going to jump into the latest dungeon-crawling RPG, you may as well take a look at one of the ones that inspired it. King's Field is a PS1 game initially released in 1994 by From Software. It's a first-person RPG plunging you into the dark medieval fantasy world of Verdite. Okay, so yeah, it looks like a load of boiled arse, but its influences on Dark Souls are unmistakable. If the first one is a bit hard for you to find, spoilers, it is, don't panic. King's Field spawned a whole series, with King's Field 4, released on PS2, being the most recent. Chances are you'll be able to find one of those. Now obviously, Dark Souls 2 being a medieval set game, you're going to be hacking through more dungeon nasties than most butchers do pigs in an entire month, but be honest with yourself, do you really know how to be a knight? If not, you could always give the Arthurian romances of Chrétien de Troyes a whirl. Focusing on many of the knights of Camelot in turn, these stories are as much accounts of the laws of chivalry as they are exciting romps through medieval England. Now I know it probably all sounds a bit dry, but honestly Chrétien de Troyes penned some really great stories back in the 12th century, and there's more than the odd bit of illicit queen diddling held within its pages, should that be your thing. Ultimately, I reckon it's a good idea if you're planning to pick up Dark Souls 2 because it'll deepen your appreciation of the medieval beyond going, "Way, I have a sword." Not that there's anything wrong with going, "Herder, I have a sword." Solomon Kane does it all the time. Now, Solomon Kane is a character created by pulp author Robert E. Howard, starring in a series of 9 novellas, multiple fragments, comics, a film, oh look, James Purefoy again, and even a tabletop role-playing game. Solomon himself is a brooding Englishman who roams the land, seeking to vanquish evil wherever he finds it, generally with a rapier and a couple of flintlocks. He also, if you believe the film, has a pretty dodgy West Country accent.
Don't struggle, eh? If you don't struggle, he'll let you go.
Now, hopefully the similarities between Solomon Kane and Dark Souls are starting to become clear, as you'll probably be spending, maybe 50 or 60 hours roaming the land trying to vanquish evil and make your name. You may as well learn from the best first, just, as we say, don't take any voice coaching tips from it, okay?
What is it you want from me?
Alright, so we've got dungeon crawling down, we know how to be chivalrous, and we know how to swing a sword at something evil. What else is there to pick up? Oh yeah! Disease and torture! Now, don't be fooled by Sean Bean wearing a suit of armour. I'm not recommending Game of Thrones, even though it is excellent. No, instead, this is Black Death, a film set in medieval England, following a band of knights on the hunt for a necromancer, rumoured to be hiding out in a part of the country mysteriously not touched by the plague. It's a little silly, but well produced, with enough hacking and slashing to keep even the most sceptical Dark Souls fan from flipping over to something else. Above and beyond that, though, the film is riddled with betrayal and deception at practically every turn, something you're going to have to get used to if you're going to make it all the way through Dark Souls 2. With other players still able to infiltrate the game and lead you to your demise, or otherwise, well, murder the crap out of you, knowing what to trust in the world around you will be a hard-learned lesson, so you may as well grab some popcorn and let Sean Bean teach you a thing or two.
You will find out soon enough.
Now, we've got a golden rule here on The Waiting Game, one that says you should never recommend an earlier installment in a franchise because it's too obvious. I'm going to break that rule now because you should play Dark Souls. Now, yeah, chances are if you're thinking of playing Dark Souls 2 and haven't played the first, you've probably already considered picking it up, but I feel like it's my duty to explain why you absolutely should. Firstly, it's brilliant. Second, the Dark Souls series is still hugely unique and there's nothing else on the market quite like it. It's not like a first-person shooter where I can stand here and recommend something similar, because it pretty much stands alone in terms of its approach to gameplay and its overall execution. Thirdly, because of that uniqueness, it's a game you have to learn to read. If you want to tackle Dark Souls 2 competently without tearing out most of your hair in the opening hours, you will need to learn to play the first one beforehand. Fourthly, it's really good. Wait, I think I said that one. Alright, so that's it for this week, but if you want to check out any of the things we talked up in this episode, click the link on screen now to see a handy Amazon list. As a waiting game exclusive, you can pick up the Dark Souls Prepare to Die version for just $5.99, which is a tidy 80% off. Move fast though, the offer runs out at 11 PM PT on the 26th of November. More like Dark Souls Prepare to save loads of money. That didn't really work. I'll be back next week, but in the meantime, feel free to make your own recommendations by leaving a comment or tweeting with the hashtag GSWaitingGame. Bye for now.